Good evening. We are extremely pleased that you are here. It is nice to come together for the purpose of co-creating, is it not? What is it you are wanting? It is good for you to bring forth to your conscious mind that which you are intending in this segment of experience. You are understanding that the gathering is made primarily of that which you are wanting to understand. We bring forth our non-physical perspective to your physical world. And you bring forth your physical perspective to our non-physical world. And together some very good things will occur. Let us hear from you. What are you wanting to talk about? No order of business here.
A million of them.
Abraham, I have been keeping a dream journal since December, since my friend died, and I'm very interested in understanding my dreams better, and I was wondering if you could tell me if there's a way that I can decipher what happens in them easily, like how can I tell whether the objects and the people and the places are projections of my mind and imagination or whether I'm interacting with other entities? Is there an easy way to decipher?
As you are receiving the block of thought, you are understanding that as you are dreaming, when you awaken and you recall a dream, that dream that may have seemed like it took a very long time to experience, or may take a very long time for you to recount even partially to another, was actually an experience that took but an instant. In other words, it is not so different from the way Esther is here receiving blocks of thought and now interpreting them. Very often, as you have asked your question, and we have heard it, we offer her a group consensus simultaneously. She receives it and then spends a few moments, sometimes minutes, unraveling it. And so as you are having a dream, it will always be your interpretation of that block of thought. When you have another dimensional experience, it has to be digested back through this format. And so we would say to you, assume always that it is an experience that is actual. In other words, your inner being is offering it to you.
Okay, now, just for an example, what if I dream about a person that I've seen through the media that I've never met? Can I assume that I've created this out of my imagination, or can I assume that this person may be dreaming, this sounds really stupid, but may be dreaming about me?
It is not necessary that the other that you're dreaming about is in that same moment having the same sort of experience, although that does sometimes happen, but it is very rare. You see, whenever you are receiver of a block of thought, whether it is coming from, let us say that you have set forth a very strong intent about something, and then in your dream state you have a sort of interchange where you are given some sort of revelation or some sort of clarity or answer. Very often the characters in your dream are only symbolic of your greater interest. If you are knowing the person intimately, in other words, if you were to dream of your friend, then we would say that it is not necessarily symbolic, that this one from non-physical perspective is actually interacting. But it is in your dream state, it is very important that you acknowledge that as you are unconscious, not in your waking state, that you are in a place of more pure interaction with that which is non-physical or other dimensional, simply because your conscious thinking mechanism is not in the way. It literally is resting and out of the picture. And so you are receiving these blocks of thought which are indicative of the real interaction that is taking place. And then when you awaken them, that's when the reinterpretation of what happened begins to take place. We hear from so many regarding dreams, oh, it was only a dream. In other words, it has no reality. And we say, your dreams are very much reality. It is just that you are not focused through this reality as you are dreaming. But everything must be interpreted back through this reality, or it makes no sense. And that is the reason that you assign symbols or characters that are representative of desires.
Okay. I keep having a reoccurring dream about this friend of mine who died, and it's kind of, I'm not having him as often as I used to, but when he comes into my dream, he's always in some state of the deterioration of the physical body, like he was the last 2 weeks of his life. And he's always peaceful and happy and content, but he'll appear and I'll say, Jerry, you died. And he'll say, no, I didn't. And then he'll say, but I'm going to in a week. You know, we've got a week that we can talk, or we've got some time that we can talk, but I feel good. And then I always wonder, well, why do I keep dreaming of him in this deteriorating state? Why am I not dreaming about him being happy and healthy?
Let us tell you why and what to do about it in order to turn that around. Your memory is so strong. In other words, that was a very emotional time. And anything that is emotional is that which you will remember. As you think back over your life experience, most things you do not recall at all, but those things with great emotion around them you remember precisely. And so as you are thinking of him still, the block of thought that is most predominant within you is that one, even though you don't want it to be, you see. And so you are, with this interchange, we're wanting to open in to an arena that we were wanting to discuss with you, with all of you, and that is that as physical beings, you do not usually recognize the block of thought that is within you that equals your real attraction power. Very few of you do. Most of you deceive yourself through words, not because you want to deceive yourself. It is not something that you do on purpose. It is something that you have learned by nature of your physicalness. When we say you are creator of your experience, those of you who are here say, we've heard that, Abraham, tell us something new. And we say, you are creator of your experience, but a better way of stating it would be to say, you are the attractor of your experience. And then we would offer a little more clarity by saying the blocks of thought within you, you sometimes call them beliefs. We will call them blocks of thought within you. That is your point of attraction. And there are many, and so you are attracting by virtue of the things that you feel or believe. You feel relative to what you believe or relative to the blocks of thought. Someone said that man created language to deceive others. And we say, perhaps, we do not really believe that it was an intent to deceive. But what we have noticed is that you do deceive not only one another sometimes through your words, but more often you deceive yourself through words. Now, let us give you an example. Esther's grandmother died of cancer, and so did her grandfather, and so did her aunt, and her uncle, and her aunt, and her uncle, and her aunt, and her uncle, and her cousin, and her nephew. In other words, there are many beings within Esther's family who have had that experience. And so over the years, the word cancer, the thought of cancer, has become a terrifying thought. Even the word of it is horrible to Esther. And so now, as Esther watches the commercials on the television, she always has negative response to them. Now, the point that we are wanting you to hear, and it is new for many of you, is that Esther can say all she wants. I'm not afraid of cancer. Cancer is not going to be my experience. I am deliberate creator of my experience. But as long as she is still feeling that powerful negative emotion when she sees the commercial, That is the true indicator. The way you feel is your true guidance or your true indicator of the block of thought that you hold regarding something. We were talking with a man from the East Coast who argued with us, but Abraham, 95% of the time I am positive and only 5% negative, as he was struggling and trying to understand why things weren't going better. And we said we would agree that 95% of your words are positive, but we do not agree that 95% of the way you feel is. And his partner, a business associate, they were sharing the consultation, said, agreed, for most of the time we are not feeling very good. Now, the reason that we have offered this rather long story is because we are wanting you to understand that when you have an emotional experience, such as the departing of someone very important to you, especially the painful departing, that the block of thought that is within you gets in there pretty strong. And even though you want to remember the good times, even though you want to accept that the bad times are all gone and that he is experiencing another experience now, still your predominant thought regarding him rests there. And so that is the reason that you are having that sort of dream. Now remember, your dreams are offered to you by your inner being. And so your inner being is simply wanting to point out to you where your block of thought is upon that, so that you can take your pivot, focus upon your positive aspects, bridge those beliefs or modify them, mold them into something that is more in harmony with your wanting. You see how it works? Mm-hmm. That in a nutshell is your whole physical experience of creating. As physical beings, you have for so long been looking outside of yourself for some standard to measure by, that now what you are understanding is that the standard to measure by is the guidance system, the way you feel, and what it is doing is showing you the way your current thought or desire and your past thought or belief fits together. And if there is any sort of controversy, then you feel some resistance, which manifests in negative emotion and manifests in a dream that points out to you very clearly what the problem is.
So is it as simple as me concentrating on him in a healthy body? It has nothing to do with him feeling uncomfortable at this time?
It does not. It is your memory of it is absolutely the block of thought within you because of the experience that you had with him. And you see, this being who exists in an absolute state of ecstasy cannot interact with you as long as your feeling about him is that he does not want to interact with that, you see.
I thought I was feeling that he was very happy, and
Good.
I think I'm concentrating on him healthy.
Some of the time you are. Much of the time you are remembering.
I guess I go over those details because they were so incredible. It was really.
Now, when we say focus upon the positive aspects, you see, the value of that is, here is again, you are attractors, and so the blocks of thought within you are your point of attraction. And so if you want to know what the blocks of thought within you are, all you have to do is look at what you're living, because what you're living is an exact replica of the blocks of thought that are within you. That is the surest shortcut to understanding what the set of beliefs within you are about. When you are wanting to fine-tune, all you have to do is pay attention to the way you feel. And as in that dream, not a pleasant dream. Even in the dream you are arguing, but wait, you're supposed to be... and so, this is such an important point that we are wanting to make with you. And yet it is such a big transition for most of you to make that as we speak it, we are aware that many of you are not quite grasping it. As I am attracting. Anytime I'm attracting something other than what I want, I feel negative emotion. And so anytime